Hello, world and universe. Welcome to the Trevor Donald Experience. Manifest your truth. And if you're new to the channel, please hit that like and subscribe button. And for my continued followers, I want to thank you. And I like to come up with new videos on a multitude of different topics that are taking place in our country and throughout America, and trying to make this place a better, rational, and conscious world. And coming right out of St. Louis, we have to talk about Congressional Rep, Democrat Miss Cori Bush, who is now in the national media and the national news. It has been confirmed on Tuesday that the Department of Justice is investigating her campaign's spending on security. The St. Louis Democrat says she retained her now husband as part of her security team and claims he is able to provide services at or below market rate. She has hired her husband, that she just recently married within the last few months, to be part of her security team, which I would seem to be a little bit weird with the Capitol riots and with politicians that are threatened all the time. Why would you want to put your husband as your security person to protect you, and then you're putting him in harm's way? As you all remember, Nancy Pelosi's husband got attacked and stabbed with a knife in their San Francisco home last year. And so who would want, I wouldn't want my brother, my sister, any of my family members to be a part of my security. Your security is supposed to be there to de-escalate any kind of conflict. They're there to protect you, but at all costs. And why would you want to put your husband in harm's way? So the Congressional Ethics Rule for members of the House of Representatives permits family members to be paid from campaign funds for bona fide services so long as the payments do not exceed fair market value. So technically, she can hire her husband. I don't know why you would. Federal prosecutors have been asking questions about Bush's security expenses, the threats she received, and her decision to pay her now husband, Courtney Merritt's, with campaign funds to provide security. The payments include, he has made $62,359 to Merritt's. NBC reported in February last year, Bush began spending significantly on security services in August 2020 and recorded $627,088 in total security-related expenses between that date and February 2023. So within 8 months, when she married Merritt's, and he does not have, here's the kicker and the caveat, a private security license, which is needed to perform security functions in the area. So not only does she have her husband as her security person, he doesn't even have a license. Merritt's, however, pocketed the security payments despite not having a St. Louis private security license, which is needed. Merritt's also received campaign's cash as it simultaneously paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to a St. Louis security firm and another individual for personal protection. So she has been paying quite a bit. Out of all the Congress people, Republican and Democrat, in the House of Representatives, she is paying a lot. And she's one of the newest members in the House of Representatives. It's not like she's been there 30 years and she's a household name. Many people still don't even know who she is. Fox News Digital filed a public records request for the St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department on Monday morning, seeking information about Merritt's private securities license. In response, a Sunshine Law administrator said there are no responsive records relative to the request, and Merritt's does not have a current license. When asked if Merritt ever had a private security license, the administrator said that the last security license issued to Mr. Merritt expired in 2012. That's almost 14 years ago. And here's the thing. If she wanted to put her husband on the payroll and even as a security person, being a minority, being a woman, coming out of nowhere, the rumor has always been that she beat Lacey Clay. The Clays were a staple made in St. Louis. Bill Clay was a congressman, a Democrat, for many, many years. Then his son, Lacey Clay, became the congressman for over 20 years. And then Cori Bush surprisingly beat Lacey Clay. And the rumor has always been, allegedly, that she was pushed into that forefront by Black Lives Matter and billionaire George Soros, who funds a lot of democratic policies and people to disrupt the political and governmental structure here in America. So she was almost placed like a pawn. I've been in St. Louis a long time. I have never heard of Cori Bush until she ran for Congress. I didn't think she was going to win, and then subsequently she did. So look at the tie-ins. She's paying her husband, who she just married. They haven't been married 20 years. He's not the father of her children or anything like that. And she marries this guy, puts him on the payroll to be part of her security detail, and he doesn't even have a security license. Now, if you're smart enough to become a congresswoman and you are legislating and passing and checking off laws that have everything to do with your citizens, including myself, and how it affects us and our freedoms each and every day, remember, she is in the House of Representatives, where they are legislating and passing or rejecting laws that affect us as the average taxpayer each and every day. And she had no idea that her husband, who she hired on her security staff, was supposed to have a license to do security. That makes not an ounce of sense. And you know there's a red light, a spotlight that's placed on you as a black woman in Congress that no one's ever heard of. So you would think that you should dot every I and cross every T. How are these individuals, I don't care if you're black or white, are so lackadaisical about who they're hiring and bringing in and paying, have on their payroll, and they don't have all of the required necessary things to fit that particular position. So he does not have a license. He's been paid almost $65,000 in a very short time, and she is running for re-election. There's a gentleman named Wesley Bell, who's a St. Louis County prosecuting attorney, who I think is a fine young man, who has the potential to unseat her and take her position. So this is coming at a really peculiar time as Cori Bush runs for re-election. And like I said, this attorney, Wesley Bell, very bright guy, he's a St. Louis County attorney, is going to run against her. So to be under this ethics committee spotlight and to have the Department of Justice taking a look at her, you have to take that very, very seriously. And then you're seeing, so you're seeing a lot of African-American women that are becoming mayors, that are state's attorneys, U.S. attorneys. This is probably the best time since I've been alive where you've seen so many black women in these high positions. We have a black mayor of St. Louis, Tashara Jones. You remember you had she's a black female mayor. You had a black female mayor of Chicago for a while, Lori Lightfoot, who was an attorney, and now you have Mr. Brandon Johnson, who's black. You have Eric Adams in New York. And so some of your bigger cities, metropolitan cities, you're seeing a lot of people of color. But we have to understand through this old white male structure, patriarchal structure, that you are going to be under a microscope on everything that you do. Just as they build you up, they will tear you down. And this story sounds very similar. I don't know if this is a stereotype or something that we're seeing with many of these black females who are in these leadership positions, that are taking care of these boyfriends, husbands, brothers. As you all remember, Black Lives Matter raised $90 million and they went defunct. And of course, George Soros, billionaire George Soros, was funding that. And you had all kinds of allegations where they were buying, the founders were buying $6 million homes, especially Patrice Collier's. She paid her brother for security over $840,000 in security and consulting with Black Lives Matter within a year and a half. $840,000, her brother. And of course, Black Lives Matter is now defunct. They rode that wave after George Floyd, and the Michael Brown first, and then the George Floyd saga. And then they somehow devoured almost $100 million, and you don't hear a thing from them anymore. Mind you, Black lives continue to die and be murdered each and every day. As you've seen in my previous video the other day, 2 young teens got killed in Chicago downtown, leaving their high school on Friday for lunch. Whereas Black Lives Matter protesting for that. Then of course we have this case also sounds very familiar with the district attorney in Atlanta, in Fulton County, where Fani Willis, who is trying to charge ex-President Donald Trump with RICO charges in the Georgia election situation, she hires her alleged boyfriend, who's going through a divorce, or just recently, he's going through a divorce, Nathan Wade, who has never prosecuted any federal corruption cases ever in 20 years. She has paid him over $650,000 in less than a year, and they have been going on vacations to Florida, to the Caribbean, taking cruises, and they weren't even smart enough. Everything is digital and computerized now. They can see where he's bought plane tickets, and he bought one for Fanny, and there is some conflict of interest that's going on there. So you have Democratic Representative Cori Bush, Congresswoman, just gets married, and she puts her new husband on payroll, pays him $65,000 in a short time. You have Fani Willis, who hires a guy that's never done any criminal RICO cases ever. He's going through a divorce. Fani has paid him over $650,000 in less than a year for a gentleman that has no experience, and then they're going on salacious vacations. You're seeing a narrative and a storyline where some of these black female leaders, prosecutors, politicians, are blurring the lines between conflict of interest, what is ethical and moral in these relationships they are doing with hiring their boyfriends, new husbands, brothers of the sort. And then the last one you have, I'm going to mention as an example, is the mayor of Dalton, Illinois, which is a south suburb of Chicago, Tiffany Henyard. She, black female, has hired all of her friends, and she is egregiously just destroying and spending every single dollar she can. She has a fake cancer not-for-profit that she is displaying, and now the Illinois state's attorney is looking at her. So we have this build-up. Of course, we have Vice President Kamala Harris, who's a black female lawyer. So we have this influx of black female leaders in politics, in the legal community, in business, as mayors, as Congress people, but they are forgetting that there is going to be a dome light on them, and every little thing that they do, they better make sure that they're doing it right, because just as fast as these people have been voted in and built up, it's even faster. It takes 1/10 of a second for you to have a mudslide on the other side where they will destroy you and even put you in jail. So these black women and these black leaders need to be very careful. This Cori Bush situation is interesting. I don't think she should have ever hired her husband, especially to do security. He doesn't have a license. What if he goes out and harms somebody protecting her? There is a legality and a legal issue that would be through the roof. She's setting herself up for failure with this new husband. It's not like they've been together 25 or 30 years. This is a new husband, so they don't have a long experience, and she's going to jeopardize herself as a United States House of Representative Congresswoman for St. Louis based on this new relationship. That makes no sense. Fani Willis is jeopardizing her career as a Georgia, Fulton County prosecuting district attorney in this Trump case by hiring her boyfriend and paying him almost $700,000. Fani Willis, being a lawyer, should know that if she's going after the ex-president, Donald Trump, that she needs to make sure that she is running a clean, crystal clean slate and nothing backfires. So these are going to be some interesting cases to see. Let's see how this thing plays out with Congresswoman Cori Bush out of St. Louis. Let's see how this deal plays out with Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis and these conflicts of interest and these payouts to boyfriends, husbands, brothers. And let's manifest our truth in the right direction. If you're a representative of the people, by the people, then you should show the people that you're doing the right thing morally and ethically every time. Please hit that like and share button. See you next time.